Oh, it's fun, crazy. It's painful, but it's wonderful. What is the name?
It's Reusse Unchained.
Patrick Reusse, how are you today, sir?
All right, so I'm watching last night's Field of Dreams game, which looked like a beautiful scene right away,
It
by the
did,
way.
yeah.
And do you know that they have a Northwoods team next year playing in that ballpark?
Oh, really? Is that
Yeah,
new?
the Dyersville Dreamers are going to be in there. Now, I'm sure that they'll probably be in a situation where they'll be home 2 weeks and then they'll say, we don't want to see you for 2 weeks or something. But yes, they're going to be in the Northwoods League. I don't know if some nights they can send them over to the old ballpark in case they got something else going. But yeah, they're going to be in that league next year. And that's, that'll give some people an excuse to go down there. Anyway, the modern thinker I am with all things baseball,
Oh, yeah.
do you think it's time to get an opener for Taj? I'm not a
Yeah,
big
it's
not
natural.
I'm not
Yeah.
a big opener guy, but I can guarantee you if he was with the Rays, somebody else would be the pitch in the first inning. They got to
Okay.
think that is he too nervous or what the hell is the deal? But his ERA in the first inning is like 7 now. It's terrible. He doesn't throw strikes in the first inning and gets behind. And I don't know. What do you think? Is it should we go all modern and have an opener for Taj? And if that hurts Taj's feelings, you should say that's okay, Taj. You giving up 3 runs every time in the first inning hurts our feelings too. So okay,
Yeah.
you know.
It's an interesting question. Yeah, if you look at his ERA by inning, excuse me. I'll start with the second inning and then loop my way back to
Yeah,
the first. Here
right,
is his
right.
his ERA by inning. In the second inning, it's 2.62. In the third inning, it's 2.25. In the fourth inning, it's 3.38. Fifth inning, it's 2.66. Sixth inning, 4.15. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
It's
well, I get a little tired.
first inning, 6.75,
Yes,
including 17 walks in the first inning
yes.
in his 24 innings of work there so far. Now the question is,
And
would he be just as amped up and nervous in the second
yes,
inning?
yeah. I don't know, but I think you got to try something because he's not the same guy. He can't throw strikes in the first inning, and but I don't know. Either that, are Quaaludes legal? Can you just slip them one? Can you get like a Quaalude that only lasts for 10 minutes, and then you get your interview. But it's incredible how wild he is in the first inning, and he's putting them in a hole, and virtually every time out this is happening. He doesn't. I've been joking about it for 6 weeks about how he doesn't throw strikes in the first inning. So
It's bad. Do you just kind of zooming out? They lost last night, but they're a game out of the wild card. They're now behind Detroit. There's some crazy stuff going on here.
yeah,
Detroit traded Scooble and now has
you
the
can't
best.
lose.
They have the best run differential in the American League at plus 90. It's better than the Yankees, Rays, and Red Sox. Better than the White Sox. And then the Twins starting in like 2 weeks, the Twins play 18 consecutive games against the White Sox, Tigers, and Guardians.
Really, wow. And by the way, the Guardians have gone in they don't score any runs anymore. They've gone completely in the tank. But and the Whiteys aren't playing that good. But there is really weird stuff going on here about the Scooble thing is thank God we got Scooble out of here. Now we can start scoring runs. It's unbelievable. I don't.
Yeah.
There's a lot of odd stuff. I mean, the Red Sox, we were having parades for the Red Sox, and then they just lost 5 in a row, right, against bad teams. So, but I guess when you win 27 out of 30, you might hit a little bit of a snag. But yeah, I think it's been a kind of a fun baseball season because there's a lot of odd happenings, don't you? And especially in the
Yeah.
American League, which is a mess. And everybody says it's because the American League's bad. Well, the American League is not as bad at the bottom as it was, which is one reason nobody has great records, right?
Yeah, well, and another reason why the American League is not as good is because, the team that represented the American League in the World Series had a hitter that went for 60 home runs and 125
Yes,
RBIs last
right.
year. We make fun of
Yes,
and I'm not insinuating like steroids, but, when we think of precipitous drop-offs, you think of like Brady
Brady
Anderson,
Anderson. Yeah,
has
you
there
would have to.
ever been a year-over-year drop-off in a guy's prime like Cal Raleigh in
Yes,
2026?
and it's hard to blame it on steroids when the reason is he's missing the ball. We
Yeah.
never get to see the ball in flight, so we don't know if he can still hit it. It is incredible that how bad he is. What's he hitting? Still 160?
Almost 159 on the season.
What? How's that possible?
He's batting. His OPS is 400 points lower than it was last year. It's
That's
crazy.
It is. It is what and I was a guy that says Cal's got to be the MVP because Judge's not doing anything, and Cal carried them. But now you watch him, and it's probably a good thing that we don't have to see him as a former MVP. But it's awful. It's what do you do? Have they had to pay him yet? Big. I
Ooh,
think
that
they
is a
think they
no.
got. I
Well,
think
no,
he.
yeah, he did. He did sign a 6-year, $105 million deal.
Ooh,
Was that before?
must have been
No, I
before.
think it was this offseason. I think they signed
Wow.
him to that this offseason.
Well, if he was willing to settle for that, he must have known it was fraudulent too. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah, it is phenomenal how you know the biggest change in baseball to me is how few swings there are. They don't swing anymore unless unless they get forced to. They don't swing.
yeah,
It's incredible. You don't. The old free swinger is just does not exist anymore. And with the ball and strikes, it was weird last night, wasn't it? Watching a game where you couldn't where the umpire obviously that now I'm not making any excuses for the Twins, they were bad, but there were about three pitches that were above the strike zone that they got called out on last night, that and they were all looking to get to have them challenge it, but there were no challenges because of the right off the bat. But
yeah.
yeah, it is amazing how this, more than anything, I think the challenge system has made people even more reluctant to swing the bat, or will more careful when they're swinging the bat. I'm
Yeah. There are, baseball. I'd love to find this because Baseball Reference, at least going back to like 1990, does
Yeah,
track. So you can see that the average number of pitches per plate appearance is definitely up since, the
yeah,
90s. And
right,
I'm trying to
right.
find like the number of swings. It's probably a longer project, but it is
Yes,
not,
right.
it's not just your eyes fooling you.
No, no.
And that's
It,
part of the reason, like, pace of play became a problem throughout some of that, because back in the day, guys would just swing more often, and pitchers would throw it over, and
did
and there
you
weren't strikeouts.
Have you been amazed how well the pitchers have adjusted to having to throw the ball within 16 seconds? It's
Yeah,
incredible to me that you don't see people complaining about. I don't think it's added arm injuries. There's the normal arm injuries. Everybody, we've been getting Tommy Johns now for half the pitchers for a long time. But it is amazing to me how it was going to be the most and I'm one of those guys. I was all for it, but I thought this was going to be traumatic, and now it's okay. When you get Joe Ryan gets the ball back, rubs it up every time. He's still got seconds to pitch.
yeah.
It's incredible how much time was being wasted.
Well, I remember covering I think was it a spring training game, or maybe it was regular season, but Jason Marquis was on the mound and Ron Gardenhire was managing at the time. And Jason Marquis was just taking
Oh
an
yeah,
hour and a half between every single pitch, and the outcome was going to be 7 runs in 3 innings or
right,
whatever. And
right. Yeah.
and I remember Gardenhire made a comment after the game, something along the lines of like, I mean, if you're going to give up 7 runs, like at least do it quickly. So you guys are standing out there for an hour.
Yes, yes. That's of course we don't get the umpire insulting his own players anymore either with Shelty. Shelty's the most positive guy we've ever had. Maybe he learned that in Pittsburgh. I don't know. But anyway,
Yeah.
yeah, it was not a real good performance. But you know who's coming on, and I'm not that surprised. But I think some people are. Is Keishel is a good hitter. Keishel,
We got to figure out where his glove's going to be long term.
yes.
But he gets on base, he puts the ball in play, he hits it to all fields. Yeah, there's a
What do you
guy
think?
there.
What do you think of left field? What do you eventually left
So
field?
yeah, Judd and I just got done recording the Score on Our Twin show, and he said that too. That I mean, he kind of butchered that one.
Yeah.
It looked bad last night because it was probably going to be a home run either way, and it winds up going off the glove. But he's enough of an athlete, and he has enough of an arm to hold left field down. So it's not like he's a plodding guy who can't cover ground. So
Oh no, he can run. He's fast.
but
He's a
he's
really.
just he needs a roadmap for sure. I think if you gave him an entire winter to just focus on corner outfield, I think it would be
Yeah.
beneficial.
Yeah, I think he'd be a good left fielder. So, but it's. I was surprised they gave up Jackson. They were treating him like, how could we possibly give up our third catcher here? But so what do you think? Not trading Jeffers means? Was it just a PR move, or are they going to keep him?
I think there's a few things on a pecking order, but I think reason number one was, well, we just made 4 trades to help our team win.
Yes.
And if we trade Jeffers, doesn't it kind of just like render those moves pointless? So
Yeah.
if you're trying to win this season, it's hard to justify trading one of your 3 best hitters. And then I also think the PR part of it too. I mean, Tom Pohlad is hyper aware of the PR problem that has boiled up here the last few years. And it would have just been another reason, rightfully so, for people to say, "Oh, see, even when they add some players, all they're trying to do is hedge with salaries." And so I don't know. I'm not the qualifying offer probably gets grandfathered in, so you can probably make him the qualifying offer. He can reject it, and you can at least get some draft pick compensation. So it's not nothing, but
Well, and I think he's going to hit the market, and it's not going to be as wonderful as people think it is. I think you can get him for 75 million for 3 years or something. But do you want to pay that much? I don't know what's going to. Who knows what this is going to look like when we
they might be forced to spend $75 million because
to get
if there's a floor.
Yes, right. That's true. If there is but we're heading into the great mysterious. I don't think we've ever headed into a lockout strike as and wondered how it was going to come out more than this one. I have no idea where we're headed with this one. Anyway.
Yeah, I know. Hey, Kyler Murray, since the last time we caught up with you, is officially QB1 for the Vikings. What are your thoughts?
Well, I'm sure that O'Connell. It's too bad it wasn't Zim in charge of this, though, being asked about it every day and asked about every pass because he would have went nuts. But they didn't want to have Judd out there and everybody else analyzing every 5 minutes of the quarterback thing. Plus, Phil, I can't be wrong here. Kyler Murray only came here because they promised him he'd be the starting quarterback at least at the beginning of the season, unless he got hurt or something. I mean,
that's what I said. Yeah,
he had other options. Why would he come here for 1.3? And which is, he's still getting 30 or 40 or whatever it is. But why would he come here if they didn't tell him he'd be the quarterback?
Yeah. That's been my logical stance on this too, which is he didn't. Not only that, he didn't. It wasn't like he took 5 meetings and then he didn't take another meeting.
No.
So if you get into that meeting and they say, yeah, you're gonna have to compete 50-50 without any other kind of wink or a nod. Doesn't he meet with the Steelers or something first and just kind of see? I don't know. So it played out the way that it looked like it was going to play out for March.
And here's a guy that he might have used to play video games during meetings or stuff, but he's not an idiot. He knows he's got Jefferson.
Yeah.
He knows he's got Addison if he can keep him away from a car, and he knows that that there's he knows he's got people to throw to here. It was a perfect place for him. And plus, he gets to play indoors. He doesn't have to go out and play any lousy weather or anything. In Pittsburgh, if I had my choice of playing in the Dome or playing in Pittsburgh, I'd play here too. What's Pittsburgh? Man alive, they're going to win 3 games. He's done. He's cooked. Okay, Rodgers is cooked. Let's
We
face
got the McCarthy partnership fired up
it.
again here,
Oh
Pat.
yeah,
I don't know.
right. What was that hire? What was that? I
Well,
don't
he's a
get it.
Pittsburgh guy. He's a Pennsylvania
I know,
guy.
I know he is, but my God, get yourself some 38-year-old guy like Tomlin and start all over again, like he should have done. It's pretty fantastic. But so, what do we think about the Lions?
Well,
Have we
I think they've
seen
just
them at their
lost their.
peak and they're going downhill again? They
I'm
lost
pretty sure
another
their
center,
starting center is out now again, and
which they
they've
went
got.
and got after they lost Ragnow, right? They went and got one in the offseason, and now he's hurt, right?
Yeah, well, and so it's been 2 years since Ragnow, but then if you remember last year, they announced
Yeah.
Ragnow's coming back, and then Ragnow showed up to and they said, awesome, we do have to put you through a physical and, go through that whole thing, and he showed up with a 3rd degree, like a full-on hamstring tear. So
Oh,
they've been trying
really?
to figure out their center for 2 years, but I don't know. It feels like this is the hardest time I've had trying to figure out the order of the 4
Oh,
teams in
God,
this
yeah.
division.
I agree with you. because they're, I think there's a good chance Green Bay could be the worst, but then again, they could be their old, they're 11-6 like they always
Yeah.
are, something like
Like
that.
if we were doing like a Stephen A. Smith, Skip Bayless fake debate show, and we said we're going to put these 4 teams in a hat, and you're either going to have to fight for either or any of them to win the division or finish 4th place, I think you could make all
Yes.
8 cases for the 4 teams.
Yeah, and the reason you would put the Bears down there is because they're the Bears. You figure out they're screw something up anyway. So I mean, Ben Johnson thinks he's a genius. Maybe he is. I mean, he did have his moments last year, but I think it's kind of fun to be in a 4-team division where every game is a toss up pretty much.
I was a couple weeks ago. I was invited on a Chicago Bears podcast, the
Mhm.
CHGO, the All City CHGO Bears podcast, and they were asking me about, just like, from a Viking side of things, perspective on what the Bears have going here with Ben Johnson, and the framing from them was like, we finally got our coach, whatever. And I said, yeah, I mean, can't remember the last time the Bears had offensive coordinator who comes in with a young quarterback and wins 12 games in his first year and everyone's all excited. And then I said, wait, actually, Matt Nagy did that exact thing with Mitch Trubisky about 4 years ago. So maybe you guys should wait one more year just to see what happens with this pairing.
Yes, that is true. What happened to our former Bears quarterback? Did he got a job, by the way?
Trubisky, I think he's been the backup for Josh Allen for the last couple years.
Okay,
Pretty sure.
That's a good job. You never have to play. It's fantastic.
Just hold the
pretty good.
clipboard and hang out in the meetings.
You know what? I've been once in a while when I'm clicking, I end up on one of these locally oriented NFL shows attached to a team. Is everybody that positive? Do you have to, if you go to camp, do you have to blow smoke at them, or will they throw you out and tell you not to come back next time if you don't kiss up to them? It's every time. We might have the most objective media in the world here when it comes to the NFL. Everybody just kisses up to everybody. It's incredible.
Everyone's envisioning or portraying the best possible scenario for their team going into the season.
Yeah, it is. It is kind of a interesting situation, to say the least.
Are you excited for Kevin Garnett, February 28th, according to Dane Moore, to have the jersey in the rafters?
Well, they certainly should put it there. He disappointed me a lot in his last 10 years in the league when he became such a grumpy old son of a gun. But I really liked him as a young guy. He was, all the way up through 2004. And then he I don't know what happened, man. He just got mad at the world. I think he having some off the court problems too, or not. I don't know, but he was, I mean, he was great, and he still's their greatest player. I think Ant is certainly very good, but I don't know. I'm much more excited about the team, though. I really think I want to see that backcourt. I want to see
Yeah,
Lamelo play. I'm not paranoid about playing small like everybody else is. I don't mind McDaniel's being my power forward. What the hell?
agreed. Yeah.
And but the thing you got to have some depth, obviously. But come on, let from the start. They got to get Finchy. They should tell Finchy you got 10 games to incorporate the Frenchman into your rotation, else you're
Oh yeah.
fired. We're going to get somebody else out of here. We're going to get
Beranger,
somebody
yeah.
else in here. You gotta start, and don't be afraid to play big old Rocco for 8 or 10 minutes too. Like you wouldn't play Luca, and now he's out there making threes for everybody. Every time you put him in there, wasn't a great defender, but he was okay. He should have still been here, but. Itchy. It's the most. It's the weirdest thing. One of the weirdest things in local sports that this guy, who seems like kind of a modern man, an easy guy, that he's just this conservative, paranoid guy who loved to play 8 guys. He's crying every day because Michael Connolly went someplace else. I'm sure because
Yeah.
I could still get 8 minutes out of him instead of somebody who can actually play.
Yeah.
That's
But he is
it's
he I
weird.
mean, he was on the road tripping podcast with like Richard Jefferson and a couple others a couple weeks ago. And Finchy is glowing, man. Like if I think if anyone's wondering, was this trade for LaMelo saying goodbye to Julius and Nas, was this like against the grain of what Finchy want? I think Finch was driving the bus
Oh
on the
God.
LaMelo trade. And the fact that, to your point, last year you're going into the season trying to figure out if Mike Conley's cooked, who handles the ball, and is it just Anthony Edwards? And now you've got LaMelo. You could Anthony Edwards is going to still handle the ball a little bit. Ayo Dosunmu is
Yes.
also, he was dealing with the calf injury, but he also scored 40 points in a playoff game, for God's sake. So
Yeah,
I like it too, man. I think they're going to be really good in the regular season.
yeah, and you know, yeah, I'm excited to see, to see that trio play together because, you can win by being quicker and faster and more dynamic, and the Ant Man will be in heaven because he doesn't have to get triple teamed when he comes up over the
Yeah.
line. They're
Did,
dribbling
did you
it.
see some of the videos and photos from the full team trip to visit Rudy in France this
Is
week?
that not a great team PR guy? I hate to be one of these over the skis homers, but I think it's great, don't you?
The slow motion action videos of LaMelo throwing lobs to Rudy in practice, the
I
Eiffel
mean,
Tower. It's awesome.
I think it's whose idea was it?
Well, so a year ago, Anthony Edwards publicly lamented the fact that we don't do anything together in the off season. We all kind of show up for training camp. We're not doesn't feel like we're friends and we're not bonding. And so Anthony Edwards kind of planted the first seed, and then I think Rudy Gobert invited everyone out
Come on out. I
to
mean,
to
to
show
bring
up.
Rudy running the guy, because Rudy, if anybody can get temperamental, it's a 7'2" temperamental guys. It's kind of weird, but he can get temperamental. But having Rudy be the back slapper and giving everybody expensive wine and having
Yeah.
them out at the farm, it's a hell of an idea. It really is, I think.
Yeah, we're gonna do our Score North France bonding trip maybe before next
Yes,
baseball
Fred.
season, Pat.
I'm all in on that for little
Okay.
France.
Yeah, I think Pat's getting a phone call. And you know what? If we can't afford France, maybe we can just do Duluth together. Maybe that's what we'll do here. So, well, we may have lost our guy Patrick Reusse, but that's okay because we'll catch up with him again next week on Reusse Unchained. See you guys.